Okay. We're ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, everybody needs to open to page 4, please. We're going to be working with sugar maple and the woodpecker again. This is our second day with this text. This will be our last day with this text. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the characters, the events, and the setting. Okay, so the first thing we're talking about are the characters. Who's in our story. We're just going to identify who the characters are. Then we're going to talk about their character traits, so how you would describe them. When I say a character trait, that means like one word that would tell you what that person or that character is like, okay? For instance, a character trait of Miss Amy is that she's helpful. Miss Amy's always ready to
Work.
help, to work, okay? A character trait of Travis is that he is silly, okay? A character trait of Hayes is that he is a great writer. There are several, everybody has character traits, okay? A character trait of Callan is that she's very kind, okay? So there are several, everybody has a character trait. Some character traits are very good, some are not so good, right? Okay, we're going to identify our characters and then we're going to talk about some of their traits. Okay, then we're going to talk about the setting. A lot of times, your setting in the story changes. You have one setting at the beginning, and then you have a different setting at the end, okay? Just like your events, what's happening in the story changes, your setting will too. When I say setting, what am I talking about? What is a setting? If I said, what is the setting of the story? What do I want to know? Callan? Where it takes place. So where the story is happening. Where the story happens in the beginning, yeah, so is sometimes different than where it happens in the end. Okay? The last thing that we're going to talk about today are the events. So what actually is happening? What happens in the beginning, what happens in the middle, and what happens in the end. Okay? Those are the 3 things we're talking about. So you guys first are going to get with a partner to read the text. We read it yesterday. You're going to read the whole thing one more time. Then we're going to come back together to talk about the characters, the setting, and the events. Does everybody know what we're doing? Any questions? Okay, I want you to get with the same partners that you had yesterday. Whoa, not yet. You're going to get with the same partners you had yesterday. Number 1, no wobbly stools. We talked about that yesterday, right? Number 2, since you are with someone out of your pod and you're a little closer, you should be wearing your what?
Mask.
Okay, get there now. Yes, Braylon. Where are you going?
I gotta go to Bible.
Yeah, that's it. Here, hold on. Let me know that.
I like the nails.
Alright, tie in some lights. I'll just sit right there. Can I be in that?
I did mine too.
And then here. Okay, get started. You should be already reading.
These blues grubs are making me Woodpecker replies,
Okay, I need everybody back to their seats. Quietly and quickly. Alyssa, I need you to put your chair back up, please.
Woodpecker.
It's okay, Alan. Thank you. Go sit down. Okay. Everybody should be in their seat. On page 4, we had a few groups that really got busy and were really working hard. Then we had a few groups that were playing. If we can't handle group work, we'll go back to our seat and we'll read every paragraph together and talk about it, and it'll be a long process. Okay, when I say group work, I mean you get together. You don't argue about who's going to read what paragraph. You just get started. One of you read the first one, the next person read the next one. We understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're wasting your time. All right, so if we're talking about our characters, we have several characters in this text. Come to the board and circle one of our characters for us, Travis. Okay, Sugar Maple. We said that is our what? Main character. Thank you, Travis. Now, how would you describe Sugar Maple? Think about what he's done. How would you describe him? Caius? Generous. I love that. And even the text. I love that you're using some of those words from the text. Everybody circle generous. What does generous mean? If you are generous, you do what?
Kind of help.
You help? Okay, yeah. You give things to people. You take care of other people. Okay, what would be another word? What's another trait that would describe him? Landon?
It says in the text Sugar Maple was tall and beautiful. Was a tall and beautiful tree.
Okay, so beautiful. Let's think a little bit more. Instead of what he looks like, let's think more about how he acts. How would you describe his actions? Callan?
He's kind and helpful.
Oh, I like both of those. Okay, kind. Everybody needs this on their paper, please. And I know that you have main character there, so you can write it out to the side over here. You can write it over here, but you need it on your paper. And your annotations need to be where you can read them. If you cannot read them, they do not help you. Kind, thoughtful, yes.
Were we supposed to write them bullet hole things?
You
Like
didn't
the
have to.
character said.
No, if you
Why?
did, though, just leave them. Okay.
I think.
So Sugar Maple's kind, he's thoughtful, he's generous. Alyssa?
Cares about others.
So how would you say that? He is
Caring.
caring. Okay, now let's talk about another character. Everyone come to the board and circle another character for me. Callan. Good, the deer. Okay, now did it tell us a whole lot about the deer?
No.
No, but we do know that Sugar Maple asked the deer for
Help.
help. Did the deer help him?
No.
No, he said that the grubs and the beetles made him what?
Uncomfortable.
Itchy, uncomfortable. So how would you describe the deer? Gavin. Give me a word to describe the deer.
Mean.
Okay, do we agree? Is he mean?
Yeah.
Is that the best word to describe him?
No.
Is he really being mean to the Sugar Maple?
No. He just couldn't help it. He's unhelpful.
Well, is it that he couldn't help him, or was he choosing not to help him?
He was choosing. He couldn't.
He was choosing. Okay, you say. Tell me why you think that.
He can't get inside that tree. He's so big.
But is that what he says?
No, but that's what it is.
What does he say? They make me
Itchy.
itchy.
So
So
you can't scratch inside your tree. I know, have to go in and let the beetles out.
okay, last one.
Yes.
Okay, we have a lot of discussion. We're not raising our hands. Ruthie raised her hand. That's why I called on her. Okay, you should have your hand up. So some of us believe that he couldn't help. Some of us think he could help, and he was just choosing not to. Either way, you could. There's one word you could use to describe him. What is that?
Non-helpful.
Okay, so think about that word non-helpful. Is that usually how we say it?
Unhelpful.
What?
Unhelpful.
Unhelpful. You're on the right track, but we need to change that prefix. He is what?
Unhelpful.
Unhelpful. So somebody's asking him for help, and he is not helping. He's not willing. That needs to be on your paper. Miss Amy, anything, if you want to add something, you let me know.
I just had a different thought about the sugar maple. I thought
Okay.
the sugar maple was easily aggravated
All right, tell us why you think that, Miss Amy.
because those grubs and beetles are getting on his nerves.
Okay, yeah. So easily aggravated. I like that. Let's add that to it. Thanks, Miss Amy.
Well, thank you.
A different perspective.
Love Miss Amy. Have a great day.
Okay, will y'all add that, please? Easily aggravated, because you can be helpful to others, but then aggravated when something happens to you, right?
Right.
So he was aggravated about the grubs and the beetles, but then he was willing to help Woodpecker later. So he was kind and caring, but he also got pretty aggravated pretty easily, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we have another character. We had Sugar Maple, we have the deer. Who else we have? Jerry, come to the board. Okay, Okay, Woodpecker. How would you describe the Woodpecker? What would be a character trait to describe him? If I said, what was the Woodpecker like? Give me one word to describe him, Yazel.
He's nice or helpful.
Okay, nice, helpful. Yeah, Kobe, sorry.
Kind.
Kind.
He's caring.
Caring. Landon.
He's generous as well.
Generous. Thoughtful. Riley.
Helpful.
Okay, we got that, baby. I do agree, but we already had that. Alyssa.
I agree with Kaius because he was caring enough to get all the grubs out of the tree,
Mhm.
out of sugar maple, and he also invited his cousins and he was
So did
kind
he?
enough to let them have some of the beetles and grubs too.
What do you think would have taken more time for him? For him to just be like, yeah, I'll do it and eat them real quick, or for him to go out of his way and find his cousins and ask his cousins and get them to agree, and then bring all of them? Which one would have taken more time?
Just him doing that.
Him inviting his
cousins.
Him taking the time to go get his cousins, right? So in that, he went out of his way to get others, right, to help. And then he also gave all of his cousins a free what? Free meal. So what would you call that?
Helpful.
Did he just do what was simple?
Hardworking.
What? Hardworking. He was willing to go out of his way, right? Yeah. Wyatt.
And not be late.
Sharing.
Huh?
Sharing.
Okay. I'm gonna put sharing. Because that is what he's doing. I was trying to think of a better way to make that a character trait. Like he's shareable is not a word. Willing to share. That might be one. Yeah. But you're right. Okay, Bryson, last one for Woodpecker. Yeah, willing to help. Yeah, I think that's what. Yes, kind-hearted. We already have kind. So I think now we're getting to repeating some of them. Okay, so now we've had Woodpecker, we've had Sugar Maple, we've had the deer. Where are some other characters? Who can circle another character that you see? Gavin, come to the board.
There's 4 of them plus.
Squirrel. Keep going. Rabbit and porcupine and fox. Okay, so those are 4 different characters. It says one by one, Sugar Maple asked squirrel, rabbit, porcupine, and fox for help. Stella, he asked them for what? Help. The next sentence says, there is nothing we can do, they said too. So he's asking them for help, and they what?
They help.
There's nothing we can do.
They all say there's nothing we can do. So how would you describe all 4 of them? What is their character trait? What is their character trait? Landon? Unhelpful. All of them are also unhelpful. Remember, you need to have these on your paper. Okay? And this you don't have to write, but I want to make sure that you guys see it. When I say a character trait, I'm asking you to describe the characters. This is what the word trait looks like. So if you see it on a test, I want you to be able to know what that word means. Okay, this is the word trait. When it says what is a character trait, they're asking you to describe the character. What is that character like? Okay, Callan? Lazy. I like that one. That's good. Love that, Callan. Bryson?
Do the beetles and the grubs count as characters?
No, because he's not really talking to them. They're not really doing anything.
Or figures.
Yes.
Also kind of cruel because they didn't even try that.
Okay. Cruel is like when you kind of hurt someone on purpose. So let's think on. I like the way that you're
I'm like the
thinking.
They are kind of hurting. They are kind of hurting sugar maple because they're not trying and they're just rudely walking away.
Right. Okay. So maybe what's the word you said? Rude. So maybe they're being rude, not willing to help. But as far as being cruel is like when you purpose. So if they had put the bugs inside of the tree, then that would be cruel. Okay, that would have been intentional. All right. So rude, unhelpful, lazy, Hayes.
Well, I was thinking that some, like if they were lazy, they would want something to eat. So
Right, but they're gonna have to what to get them out?
eat under the tree.
Work for it, yeah. And I don't think they're willing to do that. So I do think lazy is probably a good description there. Yes.
I think I add on with Alyssa because they was lazy. If they weren't lazy, they would have tried to help the sugar maple and get out the tree.
Right. There's one word that I think we're missing. If you're asking for help and somebody can help you and they choose not to, what is that word? What we would describe them as what, Yatzel?
I think they were being disrespectful for him.
Okay.
But it wouldn't if it was nothing.
I understand why you say that, but I think there's a better word to describe it. Yeah, Nadia?
Ungrateful.
No. Travis?
She just confused me right there. This next question. Didn't you say which we made the missing mark? Cause she said help.
Okay. No, that's not what she said.
She said
Disrespectful.
Oh, I would say that they're all kind of. Oh,
Y'all, there's one word that really describes it. Like if you can help someone and you just don't want to. What is that called, Braylon? Callan? No, it is, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Gavin?
Unkind.
No.
Ungrateful.
No.
Cold-hearted.
No. Y'all said cold-hearted 100 times. You are selfish. Have y'all heard the word selfish? Okay, if you can help and you just don't want to, that is selfish.
Selfish when.
All right, everybody get that on your paper. 5, 4, 3. Okay, so character traits. They are words we use to describe the characters. Okay, now we need to move on to the setting. In the very beginning, where is your story taking place? Who can come circle for me the setting? Circle a word that would tell you the setting. Hayes, come to the board. We're going to do the setting in green.
He's probably gonna get it. So I know the setting's like in the woods because there's all these animals.
Okay.
There's a picture down there. But I'm thinking about.
Y'all let him.
No, you won't.
Okay, so I'm going to write that. Okay, Hayes? I'm going to write wood. Okay? Calling a friend.
Hey, I know. It was being quiet.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Okay, class.
Yes.
Hayes made an inference. So even if they did not say the forest, he figured out what it was. 1, based on the characters, the type of characters in the text, and 2, the pictures. Is Hayes wrong for making that inference? No. In a lot of stories, you will have to make an inference. Sometimes they don't tell you exactly where it is. You have to make an inference based on those clues. So the woods is the setting, but they do give you a word in there. They says he reigned over the forest. Okay, I need everybody to circle that, underline that, whatever.
Write it.
That is your setting. They're in the forest, in the woods. Okay. Lillian, you got that? Put your glasses on, sis. Glasses on. Okay, now in the beginning, they're in the forest. Everything seems okay except for he's got all these bugs in him, right? Now, in the end of this text, there's a little bit of a change in the setting. What is the change in the setting? What is the change in the setting? Bryson, come to the board.
I don't think a tree can move. I know it is. You should say wrong. You have but
How has the setting changed?
It's seasons later.
Okay, so underline that. Seasons later, but there's something more. There's something more. Seasons later, so we're talking about a time period has passed. Caius, what else has changed? Come to the board. What else has changed about the setting?
good job.
There had been no rain for a long time, and the streams were dry. Okay, so are they still in the forest?
No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Travis was correct. A tree cannot just get up and move. They're still in the forest, right? Class.
Yes.
I need your attention. Everybody needs to be in star, facing the front. Okay, can a tree move?
No.
The setting is the same. They are still in the forest. But that forest has changed. So even though the setting hasn't changed, they're still in the same place. The way that the setting has changed. They're in the forest, but the forest is now what? Dry. Okay, it's dry. That is how it's changed. In the beginning, the forest has animals and everybody's doing good and they're just kind of lazy and they don't want the food. At the end, they're still in the forest, but now it's very dry. They're thirsty. There's no rain. So you can be in the same place and the setting changed, right? Kind of like when you guys went to 3rd grade last year. You could go to lunch and sit right beside each other. You could go to class and sit right beside each other. Some of your tables, some of your desks might have even been in groups, right?
Yeah.
Okay, when you came to school in August, your desk had to be spread out. You had to skip a space at lunch. You had to wear a mask. You were in the same place, right?
Right.
You were in the same setting, but everything had changed. Okay, so their setting is the same, but everything about it has changed. Okay, so here I want you to write the setting has what?
Changed.
You have to pay close attention to that. If they said, how has the setting changed? Some of you might have said it hadn't changed because they're still in the forest. And that would not have been true. They are still in the forest, but it has changed. It is now very dry. There's no rain. Okay? This needs to be on your paper. Lillian, did you get this, sis? Yes.
If it's really dry, then why are the trees leaves green in the picture?
Because
That's a
trees
good
hold.
part.
Well, that could have been at the very beginning, right?
Woodpeckers.
Yeah.
Or could they when it's south?
Okay, now the last thing that we're going to talk about, we talked about our characters, we talked about our setting. Now we're going to talk about the events. So in the very beginning, we talked about this yesterday, so we're going to kind of run through this very quickly. In the beginning, what's happened? In the beginning, what's happened? Okay, I need hands. Tell me what happened in the very beginning, Landon.
Sugar Maple got all these worms in him, and he's
Sugar Maple
beetles.
had, I'm going to put bugs. Okay? What else happened in the beginning? Sugar Maple has bugs. What, Caius?
He was asking people can they help him get the bug out of his shirt.
Okay, he asked for help. Sugar Maple had bugs. Sugar Maple asked for help. Then what happened, Kylan? Okay, but we want to keep it real simple. Don't tell me all the details. Just real quick, what happened after that? When he asked for help, who helped him?
Woodpecker.
Class.
Yes.
I need everybody looking at me. AJ, Riley, Colby, Braylon. All of you are looking at something else. I need everybody here. This should be real quick. Everybody should be able to do this because you read the story twice and we talked about it yesterday. Everybody should have their hand up ready to add something to this. Sugar Maple had bugs. Sugar Maple asked for help. Then what happened? Without all the details, just one sentence, what happened next? Yotzel?
That Sugar Maple helped the woodpecker net.
No. When Sugar Maple asked for help, who helped Sugar Maple?
Woodpecker.
Okay, so we're going to say Woodpecker helped who?
Sugar maple.
Listen, wouldn't be they ignored him before that?
Okay, but those are some little what?
Details.
Are those one of our main characters in the text? So we don't want to include them. Okay? So Sugar Maple had bugs. He asked for help. Woodpecker helped Sugar Maple. What would happen after that? Riley?
Woodpecker went and got all his cousins.
Okay, but that's a little detail. So it said he helped him. What after he helped him, what happened? The next big thing.
The stream dried up with all the water.
Okay, so I'm gonna say water in the. Where are they at?
The forest.
In the forest, dried
Up.
Okay, so Sugar Maple had bugs. He asked for help. Woodpecker helped Sugar Maple. Water in the forest dried up. What would be next, Caius? Okay, so Sugar Maple gave Woodpecker what?
Sap.
But wouldn't sap be sticky?
Yes, it is, but if you don't have any water, then it can take the place. It's not as good for you, like it's not as hydrating as water, but at least it's something. Okay, Sugar Maple gave Woodpecker sap to drink. And then the very last thing, what, Bryson?
Well, I was gonna say something else. Like, the tree would still give the sap to the woodpecker when he could barely do anything about his thirst. When the fox and everyone else didn't even try to help.
Okay, that's very true. Yes, true. But after this, it says Sugar Maple gave Woodpecker sap to drink. And then in the very end of the text, what does it say? I need everybody looking at the very end. Wyatt? The very end. What would be the last thing I need to add to this? Nadia?
They kept helping each other over and over.
They kept helping each other.
From that point on.
I'm going to say from that point on. Okay, so in the very beginning, Sugar Maple had bugs. He asked for help, right? That's the beginning. In the middle, Woodpecker helped Sugar Maple, and then the water dried up. At the end, Sugar Maple gave Woodpecker the sap to drink, and they kept on helping each other. So if I have a few sentences that tell me the beginning, the middle, and the end, did we talk about how the fox wasn't able to help?
No.
Did we talk about how the woodpecker wasn't able to help?
No.
Riley, did we talk about adding all the cousins?
No.
So we told them what happened at the beginning, middle, and end, but without all of the
It's a summary.
details. What is this?
A summary.
A summary. If you can tell what happened at the beginning, the middle, and the end, without all the tiny details, you have given them a
Summary.
Okay, so now, all pencils down, all eyes to the front. If I read this to you, somebody said, what is that story Sugar Maple and Woodpecker about? If I said, well, it's not, this Sugar Maple had bugs, and he asked for help, so a woodpecker helped Sugar Maple, and then the water in the forest dried up. So Sugar Maple gave Woodpecker some sap to drink, and then they kept helping each other from that point on. If I told you that, do you know what the whole story is about?
Yes.
Yes. You know the whole story. A summary will tell you the whole story, but without all the
Tiny little
details. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Okay? So when you tell someone what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end, You're giving them a
Summary.
Okay. All right. Yes, Landon.
Wouldn't the main idea of the story be that Woodpecker helped Sugar Maple?
It might be more like Sugar Maple and Woodpecker helped each other. But most of the time, not always, sometimes they get a little tricky, but most of the time they ask main idea for informational text. And most of the time they'll ask summary for fiction like this. That's every now and then they'll ask you the main idea, but most of the time it's for informational text. Okay? All right, go ahead and put this in your binder. Put this in your binder, yes, Travis. No. We still have 10 minutes of class, and we took a bathroom break. Y'all can go right before recess. Real quick, I'm gonna give you your spelling words for this week, and then we will copy them right when you come in from activity.